over the last 48 hours, I booked 19 calls for my coaching business. And I wanted to create this video so that I can show you not only how I did that, but the importance behind it and everything I did before this to make it so I'm going to be able to do this consistently in the future. And then this now allowed me to have multiple calls being booked every single day, not just like one time I booked 19 calls and never again. And on top of that, it helped many of my clients book 5 to 10 calls per day with their coaching business without having to spend thousands of dollars on ads, do any cold DMs, and do it within just a few months of starting their content flywheel system, because that's exactly what I'm sharing with you, the different steps behind this system, how it works, and how you can use the same thing. So don't stop watching this video just because you might have heard about content before. Instead, what you're going to want to do is learn the actual principles behind this stuff and exactly how this can apply to your situation. Starting with step 1, the strategy. So what I'm going to first do is now show you the different steps you're going to need to take, how to do them, and kind of the prerequisites to being able to book 19 calls. And no, you don't need to have 1 million followers on Instagram. You don't need to have some online community or email list with hundreds of members. You don't need any of that. And simply, it's just going to come down to a few things. First is clearly defining what you're going to do for people. What do I mean by this? Well, it's what problem you're going to solve. Because then you're going to be able to slowly over time find people who struggle with that problem. Next, after you figure out the problem that you are going to solve, you're going to have to find the people who have this problem. And this is way before. This is before booking the 19 calls within 48 hours. This is going to be before making a bunch of money, because you need to lay the correct foundation. Think about it like this. Think about a pyramid. If any one of these blocks are slightly misaligned on one of the first 1, 2, 3 rows, especially on these rows, if some of these blocks are misaligned, you are going to be screwed at the top because it's going to be completely crooked. So you need to lay that strong foundation so that way you can genuinely, in business, understand what you're going to solve and who you're going to solve it for. And then from there, once you understand the problem and people, you need to understand the solution. And I don't just mean kind of understand like, okay, I'm going to help with fat loss. Why do these people struggle? Like, why? What's the real deep reason behind this? And the people, okay, well, where do they congregate online? And what messaging do they relate with? And what do I mean by messaging? It's how you say what you say. It's the language that you use. Not just English, Spanish, or German. But it's the way you say things. Your vocabulary. How you present yourself. It's going to attract and convert specific kinds of people. Next is the solution. You need to have your own unique solution that people can find to be valuable. Well, what is valuable? Fundamentally, value is created when pain is alleviated. So value equals pain alleviation. Well, how do you alleviate pain? It's by solving problems. Because every problem has a perceived pain associated with it. Understand this? You have a problem in your life. Think about problems in your past, in your business. There's certain things that you perceive to be associated with this, whether it's consciously or subconsciously in the back of your mind. So you need to understand exactly what problems these are. So what obstacles these are, because fundamentally this problem is just an obstacle that is stopping somebody from getting to where they want to be. And then how to actually solve it and who you're solving it for. Then so when you have this as the basis, then comes the next step, step 2, which is community. I don't just mean community. I mean genuinely creating a community where people are thriving, people are gaining value, people are connecting with you at many different points of contact beforehand. So maybe they come from your Instagram and go to your YouTube, and from your YouTube they go to school, but then from school, or maybe they find you on school, like on this platform, which is, just school.com, as you can search it up if you don't know it. It's just a platform with hosting a bunch of other online communities. Maybe they find you on there, but maybe they find you through your YouTube content. And then you need to bring these people to these different platforms so that way you're in their head even more. Because then what you're doing is you're not just creating a sense of community in one place. I mean, yes, you want to congregate all of your leads to one place, but you're also having multiple points of contact with them indirectly through your posts on Instagram or on YouTube or maybe inside of your own school community, but as well as inside of DMs where you're personally talking with them. And then once you've started to build this thing, you'll start to notice people reaching out to you, thanking you for your help, asking if you want to meet again, asking if you want to network with them, asking these things, and then that's where step 3 comes into play. Which step 3 is action. So you have to understand the different conversion mechanisms that you can have. Because when you have these different conversion mechanisms, you actually take the time to understand these different underlying actions as well as the principles behind them, what you're going to be able to do is cultivate a business that is recurring and working for you rather than you having to working for it. Like the first thing, one of these first mechanisms is posting in your own free school community. But again, this is after doing the other first 2 steps. Then it's networking on Instagram. So maybe you're following somebody that you networked with, somebody who's a good big player in your niche, then somebody who's following them, part of their audience, found your account, followed you, and then guess what? You were able to book a call from there. And I've had the same thing happen where I'm messaging and I'm networking with other guys who have made tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. They post me and congratulating me for something on their story. People find my account and message me from there. And the same thing with networking on school. You can network on school in these other communities with other big players in your niche, as well as you can be networking with other people just within your niche itself. Then from there is authority on YouTube. So positioning yourself as an authority figure. Not only that, but being relatable and giving value in terms of, remember what we talked about, actually solving problems. And then from there, what you can be able to do is bring these people to your school community, congregate your leads in that place, and then you can translate that back over to your free school, which then people see a post, which then you can say, hey, book a call with me here. I actually did that, and within just 48 hours, I had booked 8 or 9 calls with about 150 people in the community. And then following that, what you're going to also want to be able to do is have over delivery. For example, for some of my old clients or some of my clients, they wanted to book another call with me for the future because of the fact that I over delivered, positioned my offer within my service. So understand all these are important, and then when you figure out the importance behind them and make these connections, you're going to be able to just replicate this a ton. And there's one big thing that you're missing that's actually the reason why each one of these things work and why each one of these things are actually the exact same, which actually brings me to step number 4. Step number 4, which is the secret. And this secret allowed me to close $140,000 in deal value in sales within just the time of me being 17 years old, after being in entrepreneurship for less than 2 years. And then on top of that, not only that, but most of these deals actually came within the last 10 months. So now what is this secret? Why was I able to do that, and why did it just come within mostly the last 10 months? Well, if we backtrack, what you have to look at is in what's common between each one of those 5 things is that you spent the time and you genuinely cared. So you can't just act like you care and be associated with the outcome of, oh yeah, I get to make money and I get to do these things. As well as you can't have the doubt in your mind that you're not deserving of that fact. So not only do you have to genuinely believe that you're number 1 deserving, and number 2 can become the type of person who can achieve the goals you have, which is simply through the behavioral patterns that you elicit throughout the day, and throughout even especially the time that you are the only one working, you're the only one who knows what you're doing, because during those times you're going to be able to take accountability and of yourself, and not just of your actions but of your thoughts. Or you constantly think about needing more money. I just need this, I need this to happen. Or are you thinking about thoughts like, I want this person to succeed, and you're loving that when that happens? Because there's a difference between having that genuinity and telling people that you care and actually meaning it, versus only saying that so you can make a sale. And then people can tell when you're ill-intentioned, and people can kind of sniff out those lies. So that's the last secret to being able to do these things. And if you notice, each one of these things play the same factor. When you post in your free community, you give more value, you tell people they can book a free call with you, you're going to be able to actually help them out, not just trying to sell to them for whatever reason. And the next thing is with networking as well. You're just talking with people. You're not initially looking to get something out of it. You have to think 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th order consequences. So it's like, hey, maybe this specific guy doesn't turn into a client. But maybe he opens up 3 other opportunities 6 months from now. You sell to each one of these guys for $5,000 up front. You just made 15 grand because you took some time out of your day to be able to network with this person. Same thing on school, networking on these places. And then overall being able to have enough self-respect to do this stuff consistently and consistently act in the same direction rather than just quitting when it gets boring or when you don't meet the highest expectations that you have of yourself because you're not there, so you might as well just quit. So overall, fundamentally, you have to understand that the secret is genuinely caring about these other people and having enough self-respect to consistently do the work regardless of how you feel about your situation. Because if you only live for that feeling, and then then eventually you're just going to end up quitting and you're not going to make the progress that you want. So again, that's how I was able to actually book these 19 calls in 48 hours. Not before this, but about a year and a half ago when I was first getting into coaching, I might have booked 2, 3, 4 sales calls a month. And I was actually spending most of my time just taking free coaching calls with people. I would book 10, 20, 30 a week and strictly just help out these people for free because I knew it was not only going to benefit me in the long run, but actually help them out too.